To go into, you saw your friends. What did you see happening with your friends?
Slowly but surely, it's their parents found things that they didn't like, or uh, I know I wasn't close with them, but I saw some people get caught up with police and stuff, and
Mm.
they weren't really making money. They were broke, and they were staying broke, and it's a mindset thing. If you wanna, most people look at money as I have money. What can I make this money into? What can I spend my money on? But you have to have the mindset of, I have this money. How do I make more? How do I take this money and double it? How to make this money and triple it?
So let me backtrack a little bit. What is your company? And what do you do? And how much did you get paid for your first job and how much you get paid now?
Okay. My company is named Jensen Bros Landscaping. If you guys want to check me out, thejensenbros.com. Started back in 2016 is when I started on my own. My grandpa got me into it.
Mm.
When I was 4, 5, 6, he'd take me out in his truck, and he had his trailer. He had all his lawnmowers, and he'd cut the grass. And I started off blowing, and so I don't know what I got, probably $5 in a bag of Cheetos. Um, but it slowly went from blowing to helping him weed eat. And then it went from weed eating to cutting the grass with him, getting it done
Mm-hmm.
fast. And so it went from about 5 and some Cheetos to about 20.
Mm.
And eventually my family moved down to Georgia because they did not like the cold.
Right.
And that's when I really started on my own. I bought a lawnmower for
And your
$50.
grandfather was where in
Nebraska.
Nebraska?
Yep. Yep. I bought my first lawnmower for $50, but actually I didn't buy it. I set up a post on Nextdoor Neighbor. I was looking for people who had lawnmowers, and I explained my situation. I want to cut grass. I need a lawnmower to cut grass, and there was a kind soul, uh, nice enough to help me. I had the money. I had all my money at the time, but I had the money. But she decided to pay for the lawnmower. I'd never met the person, never even seen the person, much less talked to him on the phone one time.
Well, what? Hold on, back up. What is this website you're talking about? What you said you saw them on what?
I think I posted on Nextdoor Neighbor.
What is that?
It's an app where basically your neighborhood can talk, they can collaborate. Hey, do you guys have a plumbing guy? Oh my gosh, I saw this snake. Look at these deer, they're so pretty. If people are selling things, they sometimes put them on there. It's like a Facebook, but for your neighborhood, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
somebody bought you your lawnmower?
Yeah, they brought me my first lawnmower.
Oh,
Yeah.
little did she know. How old were you then?
13,
And you're how old now?
17.
How much do you want to discuss how much you make? Because I
Yeah, I
know
can
that
do
you're
that.
paying your
Absolutely.
employees more than I make.
Absolutely.
How much do you make doing this?
I like to keep myself around 60 an hour. That varies. That very much so depends on what job I'm doing, how much time I'm spending. Because sometimes it'll go all the way up to $100 an hour. I'll make really good money. I'm doing really good time, but sometimes it goes down to 20 an hour.
Right.
Sometimes I make mistakes and I have to just eat the losses, and it is what it is.
I think that's one of the keys to being successful in this. And I didn't learn this until I worked for this dentist. He was so good about eating his losses.
Yeah.
Everything that he did wrong, he didn't like, or not did wrong, or every complaint that came through, it was like a learning lesson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they may have burned me, they may have lied to me,
Yep.
they may have made up some stuff, but they're not going to get me again.
Yeah.
I'll eat this one up, chop it up to the game, but we're about to switch some stuff so
Yeah,
this doesn't happen.
everything, every mistake, every minuscule mistake is a learning experience. Really, everything you do is a learning experience. So, like, I'll go to a job. How long do I think this will take me? I think it'll take me 4 hours. I'll spend $200, and I'll get all my money back. But is that always the reality? Sometimes it is. Sometimes I'll do 8 hours. I'll go double over my time.
Right.
But you learn from that.
And you deal with upscale lawns.
Yep.
Like, you're not no chump out here in the streets.
No. I like to pride myself on the work I do. I went from prices, and when you charge by price, I'm the cheapest guy out there. I do the work, I'll get it done, sure, but you're the cheapest guy. You're going to get the cheapest customers. You're going to get the people who aren't nice, who don't know what they want, who aren't really good people in general. And so once you get out of that and you get some customers, you really only need 3 customers, 3 good customers. And if you can pride yourself on work, you have 3 good customers, it spans very fast after that.
The office that I worked in had very high clientele.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem that I had with high clientele, they were very unrealistic about things.
Yeah.
They wanted what they wanted, and sometimes it was not worth the damn money.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? Because I didn't handle that well. I'm like, you're making this harder than it needs to be.
Well,
and if I give you what you want and it's not what you're supposed to have for like clinical reasons, then you still want to get mad at me.
Yeah. I had a client like that. Her name was I built the retaining wall. You remember those pictures? Yeah. So basically, when I got there, she wanted a complete triangle, hard corners, and I was like, "Hey, man, we can't actually do that because this stone is made to be round, so we have to have rounded corners." And so I walked her through it. I laid the first row down so she could
Mm,
understand what it looks like, and she really liked it. There are a couple adjustments that need to be made, but for the most part, in my line of work, you can really show the customer what they're dealing
that's a
with.
good thing.
Yeah, and if
That's a
not,
good thing.
then this is gonna sound really bad, but you just very much so overcharge. And I'm not saying overcharge to take their money. I'm saying overcharge to cover yourself if it costs more than what you think it is.
It's also a technique where you know that they're going to give you a hassle. You know you're going to have to redo it to count
Yep,
your losses, but you also overcharge in some cases to scare them off.
absolutely.
Like, okay, yeah, that's 3 times as much.
And something I've learned is bid like you don't want the job,
Mm.
because once you get that high bid, just one high bid is going to send your confidence through the roof, and now you know you can get those high bids. And if you get, let's say, 3 small bids, it's going to compare to the one high bid, you know?
So you have to bid for this?
Not necessarily. It's more so like I go to a house, I'll give them a quote, like this guy I'm doing for, it's a yard cleanup, right?
Mm-hmm.
He first called me there. I counted 18 bushes he wanted removed.
Okay.
And then he wanted the stumps gone as well. I went there, I said, yeah, it's going to be about $1,800. And I'll get everything done. I'll get the front done for you. Everything was included. But he was like, let me talk to a family member, and I'll get back to you, right? So the family member comes, he cuts down all the bushes, but they don't do quality work. They didn't take out the roots. And so he calls me back. He's like, hey, so what is it going to be now? Thinking it's going to be less, but it went up. Hey, man, it's $2,000. You just made my job harder.
Correct, because now you got to dig in the ground before just picking up the whole thing.
And so sometimes that bidding, it does justice for you.
Because they keep you in mind.
Exactly. And they know I'm going to do quality work. They know I'm not just the cheapest guy, because with the cheapest guy, you're going to get the cheapest work.
I saw something, on TikTok, and there was a guy, he was a plumber or a bathroom designer, and he said that exact same thing. He said, drop it on them, let them make a decision, and then go cheap, and guarantee you when you come back, you get to charge them twice as much.
Yeah.
Because you have to fix that previous job, and then you got to do your
work
job.
on top. Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Where did you learn this, John? Because I'm sitting here talking to you, and you are more grown and more smarter than I have ever been. And how? Like, I didn't have the confidence to do it. A lot of grown up stuff until I was close to 40. Like, here you are at your age. How old are you again? How old again?
17. 17.
You're not even 18 years old yet.
Just
and you're
17.
killing the game. Yeah, we just had your birthday.
I think I've been very blessed and very fortunate to have people around me, like my father, my grandfather, who understand how money works and understand how to be financially responsible. And that, coupled with my personality, I'm a very out there go-getter. Hey, how you doing to every single person I see? And you learn really quickly.
So I got a question. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
So you go from door to door knocking, hey, can I cut your grass? It takes one yes. One yes. And if you can keep that mindset, you're going to learn everything. And every time somebody does something for me, I don't want them to do it for me. I want them to teach me how they're doing it.
Go ahead.
How are you trimming that bush right there? How are you changing that tire? How are you changing those brakes? What are you doing? Explain it to me, because that knowledge is more valuable.
Right.
My grandfather, he was the person who got me into this. He said, hey, look, this is what you do. This is what you don't do. And he got me the bare basics down. And without that, I couldn't have done it. Without seeing him, I couldn't have done it. And then on my dad's side, he's owned a company. Dean, he had a construction company passed down from his father.
Okay.
And so he's had years and years and years of owning that company, of managing his finances and doing all that. And I think that did worlds for me, because all of his mistakes, everything that he's learned, I get to learn it early.
Because you watched him.
And I talk to him. I call him up every, I'd say 2 weeks. And I'm like, hey, Grandpa Dean, how you doing? Or if I have money problems or money troubles, I'll ask him. Or I was about to buy a dump truck, actually, because I do a lot of dirt work. I do a lot of rock work. I need a dump truck. And I was sending it to him. I was like, hey, what do you think about that? He said, John, do not buy that. That's going to cost you more money and time than it's actually worth. And I said, okay, thank you. And I think some people fail to make the distinction between cutting grass and landscaping.
With landscaping, there's a little more art to it.
Yeah, there's a little bit more art, and there's a little bit more knowledge that goes into it. Because you got to know when to prune plants, how to prune plants, how to plant plants, how to make a retaining wall, how to make these pebbles look good, the borders, all that type of stuff.
I was at the house the other day, you had shown me the plants that you had just bought.
Yeah.
And you had 5 plants, and the excitement on your face, you were explaining to me what the plan was, and it goes this, and how much it goes for, how much you're selling it for, the process. And I'm looking at you like, okay, they're just pretty to me. Like, they're
Yeah.
just cute. But you could tell that you're definitely in it to win it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love nature. And I think landscaping is a way for me to get out there because I have ADHD. I need to move. And so one thing that really helps for me is the sun and being outside, smelling the air. And each yard, I don't have to, let's finish the front yard first and then the backyard and then let's do the mulch or whatever. There is an order to stuff, but I can, for the most part, go in whatever way I want. It is not a linear line. I can go right, left, up, down, backwards, and it's completely fine.
I love that you made that point because I have ADD too, and I have a hard problem staying online. And
Yep.
I've realized working in offices that kind of was a problem.
Yeah.
Because I'll start something to finish it, and like you don't think I'm going back to it, I'll get back to
Yeah.
it before it's due. But on the outside, it doesn't look like it.
Exactly.
So that is such a good point with what you do. Because you're outside, you get to jump and do whatever you want to do.
And another thing is, I love driving. I love nature,
Oh
and
my
so
God, I
my
hate
whole
driving.
job is a sightseeing trip because Georgia is so pretty, and I go up to North Georgia quite a bit, and the whole ride up there is just mountains and trees, and there's basically nothing out there, but that's what makes it so pretty.
The hardest thing for a lot of people is seeing on the other end.
Mhm.
And the fact that you're able to put that in perspective, like this is for right now, this is what I'm doing. And this kind of goes back to what you originally started. I didn't know that you were getting a truck
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah.
You were just blowing the engines out of trucks.
Yeah.
And then, you said earlier, don't tell people what you're doing, just do it.
Yeah.
And I had no idea until this very moment that was your whole plan.
Yeah.
I remember at one point you were like putting motorcycles together and then trying to sell them. And damn.
The first that call I
You've
just
been
took.
working on this for years.
Oh yeah, I love automobiles. I love the gas, the raw feeling. Like one of my favorite things is in the morning on a cold morning when there's a little bit of dew out, and I smell the fresh cut grass with the gasoline of like a lawnmower or a weed whacker. Oh my gosh.
Whatever, living life. I know that you're in ROTC.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you're going to be joining the military?
Oh no. There's so many things going on right now. China, Russia, Ukraine. There is bound to be a war.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a part of that.
I get it. That's one thing I commend about you, the younger generation. You guys are able to see what we did not see due to social media.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are making better decisions. Like, you're not about to get me caught up in this crap.
Absolutely not. As a young business owner, one of the biggest things you have to be is innovative. How can you take this $20 and make something of it? Because, okay, example, right now, my lawnmower, I have 2 lawnmowers. I have a precision cut machine for yards, and I have a rough cut machine for backyard cleanups, little trees and stuff. I don't really care about that mower. And I just took 2 pieces of metal, I welded it on there to carry logs.
Okay.
Because you don't want to carry logs back and forth, but that basically costs nothing to me but my time. And that is going to make me a lot of money.
Because you just thought outside the box.
Yeah. Because you can go get a skid steer or a wagon or a cart, and it's going to cost you $400 minimum.
Wagons cost $400?
They're expensive.
Damn.
Yeah. And then again, you get to pull the wagon, just do it. It's going to take it for you,
And then when you stack that money up, then you can go back.
Exactly. And then you can get a good piece of equipment. And another thing is people like to buy the cheapest thing they can find.
Yes.
I understand that.
I'm guilty of that.
Me too, absolutely. However, there's sometimes where you just have to spend money to make money. Because the cheapest thing isn't always going to get it done.
Right, because it keeps breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the stuff at the dollar store is cheap, but you have to keep buying it.
it,
I saw
yeah.
something like aluminum foil. Yeah, it's only $1, but you got to buy 5 of them to get to the $3 container that's at the store. And you don't think about those little things until somebody explains to you, like, damn, I am, They say being poor is very expensive.
Yeah. And another thing is, it's a mindset. I will absolutely think it's a mindset. Not for all people. Some people are different situations. Some people can't get out of that. But there are so many kids right now who can have a lot of money, who do have a lot of money, but they spend it all. Because I'm rich, I'm not poor, I got money, I'm making money, I'm making $500 a week. And it's like, buddy, how much could you save right there?
It's not kids, it's adults too.
Yeah.
A lot of adults, as soon as they make a little bit of change, then they got to get a new house, they got a new car.
Uh-huh.
And that's one of the things I realized with white people. They don't do that.
Mm-mm.
When they get money, they stack that joker up.
Exactly.
And they don't start spending until they are well in the commas in the bank.
Mhm.
Asian community do that too. These are
Yep.
the only two that I've seen. By the time you actually see that money, it's been there.
I'm broke. Like, I understand objectively I have some money in my account, but my mindset tells me I'm broke. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't spend money on food. I have food at my house. I have food at my job. I get fed.
Food killing me, boy.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't spend money on useless things. Like, I don't need those $250 Jordans, you know? I'm not a materialistic person.
Yeah.
And so I think that helps me a lot as well.
Material things really has hindered myself and a lot of people, because sometimes that is the reward.
Yeah.
Especially when you work a 9-to-5 job.
Oh yeah.
That is the reward. Like, I've done all this, so I earned a pair of shoes. Yeah. I've done all this, so I earned this meal. I've done all this, and that's most people are like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think slowly people are getting out of that. But that's just, it's a mindset.
I think a part of it is, have you ever heard the experience of "Don't shop when you're hungry"? Quotes. Don't shop when you're hungry. And basically that's with life too. If you're looking for a relationship when you're lonely,
Yeah.
you're gonna get who you want, not who you need. If you're looking
Facts.
for clothes while you're naked, you're gonna get what you want and not what you need. And I think that's another mindset thing. Everything is mindset.
I don't know how you got this smart. It's weird. It's hard because you've been so conditioned to buy.
Absolutely.
And I realized commercials have a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
The less I watch commercials, the less I spend on
stuff. I bet.
But that damn Amazon keep my money.
Oh, I get you. I think the hardest thing with being a young business owner, having school, having another job on top of this, is I have no time. You know, it affects my relationships. It affects my mom. It affects my girlfriend, in the sense that I don't get to see them all the time, and it makes them sad. It makes me sad. But
your mom does say that when I'm over there. I don't know if John's gonna come over. I don't know if they're gonna come over. And then when we were over there the other night, you're like, nah, I got a job in the morning. I got a job in the morning. So do you think that at one point you're going to regret these moments of just being a kid? Because that's a big thing. You're only young once.
Yeah.
And there's some value to being young and dumb.
There is.
Just sleeping in late and not having to worry about groceries or gas or schedules. Because, it does get to a point where it doesn't go away.
I think that, yes, a lot of people should value their childhood, and a lot of people will have a good childhood, but I've been stripped of mine. I've had to be mature from a very young age, and it's just kind of stuck, and I like it. I have a great opportunity to get ahead in life.
Right.
I don't pay bills right now. I guess insurance, car stuff, but I don't pay like phone bill or rent or food or anything like that. And so I have a great advantage to just stack. And I will get to a point where I won't have to work. And that's going to be soon.
One of my life regrets is I didn't do that. As soon as I got a little funky paycheck, I decided I was grown.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to hear nothing from my mom and dad about coming in and doing this. And I went out and got a place and didn't finish school. And once one bill came, they all started stacking up.
Yeah.
Car, then you get a car, then you get a car repair, and then you get this, and you get that, you get electricity, and they just never went away. And to hear you be so wise about that at this age is amazing.
I think of it, I spent 3 hours of my life getting money so I can spend it on what? A meal? And it's like, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
People who think like that, and this is not a mindset that I knew about until my best friend in Tampa told me that.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks about the stuff that she buys on how many hours that she works. And I realized most people who make good money, or at least make their money work for them, they have that mindset.
Yeah.
They look at things like, this is 3 hours, or this is 5 hours.
Is this really necessary? Did I need it before?
I remember being a girl, a teenage girl, especially when it came to boys. You guys had so much pressure to look fly.
Mm-hmm.
To look fly, to act fly, to have this, have this. How did you not succumb to that? Because there are boys, young men who like the thought of not having the flyest tennis shoes
Oh yeah.
drives them crazy.
Oh yeah.
And there are guys who will come for them because they don't have the latest tennis shoes. How did you not fall into that?
I think it was from again a young age of not having money. My dad didn't get me the flyest tennis shoes. My mom, she tried. She got us Vans. She got us Jordans every now and again. But I was never pleased by it. I was never like, oh my gosh, I love this. And so very quickly on, I learned it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what that random dude over there thinks. It matters what I think, what I feel, what I do. You see what I'm saying? Do you guys have value in your words? Absolutely. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm going to die. You're going to die. You're not going to even know I'm here in 30, 40, 50. I won't say that. I'll say 100 years,
100 years, yeah.
So literally nothing matters. If I go up to that girl, ask her out, hey, how you doing, shawty? You look like the finest, baddest ting in town.
Yeah.
If she rejects me, it does not matter.
Right.
Sure, she's going to have a story of some random dude coming up to her and saying some weird stuff, but it does not matter. And I think that itself does worlds.
And the fact that you have that at this 17 years old. There are adult men who don't even have that.
Yeah.
There are adult men that if their outfit is off, like they are in a shamble in life. There are adult men that don't know how to talk to a woman.
Yeah.
And instead of understanding, let me step my game up, it does not matter. Maybe she just didn't like me. Oh, she's
whatever.
Stuck up, or she thinks she's better than me. She ain't, and then they go tear her down.
Yeah.
And it's a sad thing to see, but there are adult men that don't even.
That comes from insecurity.
It definitely comes from insecurity.
And
but they don't see that.
No, they don't.
They don't see that at
all.
all.
I'm the best man there is. Why would she turn me, bro? You see yourself?
There are women who are like that too.
Oh yeah.
I had this homegirl in high school, and I remember I've never been a flashy girl. I've always been kind of conservative, even when I had a more banging body. And I would wear conservative stuff, but you could tell I had something underneath. And I remember she tried to dress like me. And she looked at herself in the mirror, and I remember she almost went through like a breakdown. She's like, I can't dress that. And she had to put on her 2 dress and her high heels and put her weave and stuff back in. But it was the panic that she had in her face I'll never forget. And at that moment, I was like, I felt bad for her. Like everybody saw her, and they saw her as this beautiful, top-notch woman. And I was like, I don't think she thinks that at all.
Many people don't see how beautiful they are. And it's sad to see. Another thing, I guess, there's a lot of things here.
I'm listening.
If I can't buy it twice, I try not to buy it.
That is such wise statement.
Yeah,
right there.
My truck does not really account to that because I'm still paying it off. I could pay it off now in full, but I think it's easier to have payments and just stack money on top of that.
If I can't buy it twice, I don't need it.
I don't need it. That's it. It's just that. It's that simple. If I was living life before and I can't buy it twice, I want it, then I don't need it, John. I want a dirt bike. Can you buy it twice, John? Sure. Do you need it, John?
I mean, the way that need thing, I could come up with a reason. But the buy it twice mentality is very smart. I like that. That's very, very smart. You have a lady. You have the family. You have your brother. Do you have a group of male friends?